Hello and welcome back to the Simplicity Mock Overwatch League Season 0, Week 8. Today I'm joined by Who Knows again, and we're here to cast the Houston Rangers versus the Philadelphia Liberty. How are you doing today, Max?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to get straight into this match. There was a little bit of uh, there was a little bump in the road with Philadelphia's players, but it seems they found what they needed, and we're going to get into Busan first map, which was indeed Houston Rangers map pick. Now, what do you think we're going to be seeing here on Busan?
So obviously the meta recently has been focused around a lot of double shield. I think a lot of teams didn't really experiment with double shield too much because they thought it was bad. But with the recent Brig buffs and then she got nerfed again, I think people realize that double shield is still pretty good, and also Echo as well, still very good. And so I'm assuming we might see some double shield, but also we might see, like, especially on the King of the Hill maps, we've been seeing a lot of the Ball Sigma just kind of playing like a really strong backline that can be self-sufficient, and then you have your ball and your tracer that can cause disruption and engage and get picks onto the backline. So we might see even like a mismatch of those two comps, but also like we might see some comfort picks as well. So I know a lot of teams in this league have been sticking to the tried and true rush comp with the Somber Reaper, and also a lot of teams playing the bringing back the May McCree as well. So should be interesting to see what kinds of things we see here. I think, Mecha Base will probably see closer to the Rush variants. And Philadelphia getting their last player in here. So we should be getting into the map shortly. And what kind of comps do you think you'd like to see here?
I'm a big Ball Sigma fan. I think it's just really cool seeing how all the chaos can lead to different advances around the map. I am actually a Ball and Sigma player myself, two trick. So, I mean, if I could play both at once, I definitely would.
Yeah, it's very interesting how we've kind of evolved, I think, over the past 4 or 5 months with those nerfs to the shields and nerfs to a lot of the main tank heroes, where we have kind of switched away from the typical tank duo synergy kinds of metas, and we are now leaning more into more metas where it's mostly just having two self-sufficient tanks. So for a while we had the Roadhog and the Sigma as the tank picks, and the whole idea for that was that they would apply pressure at different areas around the map and be able to be self-sufficient and play off of each other rather than working with each other to like you would see like a Ryan Zarya or a Orisa Sigma or an Orisa Hog. So we getting into downtown first. Looks like we have Houston blocking the double shield. They're going to be playing the Echo Tracer. This is very standard from what we've been seeing. Some teams have been running the Genji and instead of the Echo, and also some teams have been running McCree instead of the Tracer. But I think this is kind of looking at Fire's career profile. This is probably something that's more comfortable for him. He does have quite a lot of hours on Tracer. And still don't have a main tank. We do see the Ball Diva, or Winston Diva. It's going to be dived from the side of Philly.
Oh, interesting. You're leaving your backline behind wide open for that Tracer to flank them. I hope they can peel for it. Now, looks like both teams just setting up, but Houston with this grouped push along the left side of the map in the cinema. Philly looking to set themselves up on point, just deny all that space, all that location that Houston wants to be in. The shield comes out, both teams just spamming each other. Objective unlocks, and Philly has first contest, but Houston with this extremely strong front line, and they're playing groups. But two picks come out instantly onto the main tank of Philly, as well as the support player on Houston, and Houston will get first cap, but their health bars are extremely low. Boba picking up Natty, but Tommy with an early barrage. It's 6% on the clock. I can't believe it. Mingo also picking up right in your face, but Houston managing to keep the point for now.
Yeah, it was just a lot of pressure that Tommy was able to put on with this Faro, being able to still having some contest on the point. Fire trying to get as much progress as possible since they did flip the point. But Tommy with that early barrage really flipped that. I think it was looking very good for the side of Houston. They were making good use of their comp and being able to just sit back, poke the tanks, and tell the tanks basically, if you're gonna want to dive us, then we're gonna let you do that, and you're gonna pay for it. But then the pick on the Zap It was able to really open that up for them to have a lot less power with just the brig heals. Both teams seem to be staging. Houston did opt for taking Alley. Pulse Bomb comes out, but it forces the Immortality Field out from Zap It, so that's not going to find anything. AZN falls off the map. Interesting, but Natty finds fire with a right click from Zen, but gets taken down with the window from Leo Leon. Tommy with another barrage gets shut down immediately though, but Mingo on the back gets Zap It, and now I think with the brig healing, they Houston here should be able to just clean this up. DDNA is falling very low, just trying to stall as much as possible. Does get taken out of the mech, and Dagon gets taken out as well, and it's just AZN. The Bongo comes out, but it's DNA kills right in your face for some reason. I don't know how that happens, but fairly clean fight for the side of Houston there.
Oh, look at this. Philly, Mingo swapping to the Widowmaker, trying to shut down any of the angles Echo's trying to take. Tommy sticking to his guns on the Pharah, even though Houston has done a good job denying him so far. He's just been charging these barrages so fast. But this is going to be hard for Philly to retake, only coming up on 2 ults rather than Houston's 3. And I know that window charges fast, so they could get that mid-fight as well. But it looks like both teams just setting up. AZN clears some space, just setting up on the high ground. The rally comes out from Glitch, as well as the bomb from DNA. Will it be big? It will not. Both the lamp coming out and straight into the shields of Houston. Transcendence comes out as well from Natty, but the copy and the Graphitic Flux. Graphitic Flux gets missed and the copy gets taken down. Philly just doing a great job so far. Boba picking up 2, however, swinging this fight in Houston's favor, as well as Leo just finishing off AZN with a headshot. Now that is an awful fight for you if you're Philly.
Yeah, this entire time Houston was able to flip the point, so they were ticking up on their time bank and coming in with all they already had the point control. They were able to control it the whole time. We might not even be able to see a touch. DNA does get stunned, and they're not going to get that touch. And like you said, it's a very bad fight. You invest a lot as Philly trying to get into this fight. You invest the Primal Rage, you invest your Transcendence, your Valk, all your abilities, and then you actually had a really good start with the bomb that forced out both, like, you were able to break the 6 shield, you're able to get the Immortality Field out. They weren't able to capitalize on the fact they forced a lot of abilities there, and it just ended up being the situation where they couldn't really play into the brig who used the rally, and it was just kind of like a comp difference. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Philly stayed on dive for that long into the comp that they're playing. We do see, this is interesting, we have Ryan Sigma on both teams, but neither team opting for the Lucio. This is very interesting. Fire sticking on the Tracer, Mingo on the Soldier. Those main composition differences, but both teams on the Maze can be kind of like a slow rush, which I don't quite agree with. Wall comes out from the side of Houston, but doesn't get anything. AZN gets counterpinned right in the back, and the Immortality Field can't save him. Now they should just be able to march forward into DNA and the rest of the team. Leo Leon just picking up everyone. The Wall comes out to try and save as many people as possible, but Fire's already in the backline to clean stuff up, and that's just going to be a very clean fight win off the back of really good plays from Leo Leon.
Yeah, very good ebb and flow to that fight. The Rhine knowing when to go in, knowing when to step back and have his healers pocket him a little bit. We do see a little bit of third-person peeking just to know where the enemy is coming from Leo as well. Philly hesitating to walk out. They know they have the wall, but Tommy just blocking off the enemy May so they don't get cut off from each other. It's a smart move. Shatter comes out though, only hits AZN, and the lamp comes out in return, but Fire with the pulse bomb in the background takes out himself as well as Mingo, but Leon finds Tommy in the neutral as well as AZN. This man is unstoppable with 4 kills.
Yeah, right in your face. Should have let him have that last one. That was a Leo Leon kill feed right there, and being able to get 4 kills off of it was a small shatter, but it forced out enough abilities that they were able to control the tempo of the fight. They didn't have to use their lamp until later, and then also they were able to get the damage. A lot of Ryan is managing that armor. The wall comes out to deny the fire strike through the window, but Boba's very far out of position, but isn't getting punished. Finally gets punished by Tommy, but the huge flux has already done the damage. DNA right in your face now, trying to show up his teammate Leo, filling up the kill feed. He gets 5 this time. Leo just stealing that 6K from him. A little bit of maybe a little bit of back and forth, but yeah, that was an interesting fight. But off the back of that flux, went very well for the side of Houston.
Houston tanks are just built different, I guess. Just both of these heroes filling up the kill feeds, but both rallies come out to start. Tommy with both Mei ults as well, just stacked right on top of each other. No value is coming from either of these, but a shatter as well as a flux. Boba finding AZN and Natty finding fire in the chaos. But what will we see the fight swing to? Philly has to win this to keep themselves alive for map 1. The grasp was forced out from DNA, but Houston, just with this great team play, they're clumped together. That's exactly what you want from this brawl. Zapat with matching window, as well as Natty. Shatter comes out, but it's almost blocked. 4 people are down, but Azen isn't able to find value as his team just fell before he could get there. And it will be, well, it will be map 1 to Houston, 2-0.
Yeah, it was just a very clean play from Houston. They obviously knew how to play their neutral fights better. Looked like Philly was a little bit lost on their engages, trying to... we're going to see right in your face with his flux here at the end. Bailing out Boba. Boba was in a really bad spot here. Probably should have gotten punished, but really good flux to be able to save the teammate. Triple kill. Being able to... Oh. He should have given him the 6K, but I think Leo was a little bit upset about him stealing that last kill for the first for that fight prior. But like I said, both these comps kind of strange because it was we have both teams playing the Rein Sigma with the Brig though. See a lot of teams run the BAP Lucio. And then we didn't see a McCree until later. So like a lot of teams lately have been running the McCree Mei. Usually when you have Mei come back in the meta, you see a lot of McCree because especially if you're going to mirror, you can have the ability to try and flashbang the Mei, force the cryo early, which I didn't really see either team do. A lot of teams when they play this Rein like brawl comp or whatever, they get so focused on hard focusing Rein that they're not really dealing with the Mei that's off angling really hard that they can easily punish. Because if you're able to force the Mei to use cryo early, you can take the space and basically secure that as a free kill because she can't move, and if her team doesn't react immediately to try and save her, then she gets put in a really bad spot where she can get picked off really easily. So you actually see a lot of higher tier teams often have their Mei try and freeze the other Mei to force the cryo early or to force an early pick, or they'll have McCree try and either flash above shield to try and get ahead in the health war, in the resource war, or they'll try and flash the Mei if she's off angling too much and try and burst her down or try to at least force her cryo. But
a lot of theory there from that map, that Mei interactions. But we do need to get on to talking about the next map, which will be hybrid. And the picks for Philly are Eichenwald, Blizzard World, or Numbani. Now, which one of these would you like to see?
Honestly, I have a soft spot for Numbani. I know it's not a very popular map, but I really like Numbani. I think you could bring a lot of different styles, and I think the map is actually designed well enough that it can be played fairly intelligently, whereas especially Blizzard World kind of has a very one-dimensional approach to a lot of its points. But Numbani opening like a lot of, I think any map that has a lot of high ground to be controlled can be a good map to look at, which also makes me think that Eichenwald could be pretty good as well. But I think the first point is where a lot of people complain about Numbani, but I think it's actually designed really well, where it puts a lot of pressure on the attacking team to really get value out of their rotations and really force the enemies out of their power positions onto the high ground, and being able to not get, like, if you go straight to point on Numbani, you're going to get poked out from high ground by all the damage and all the off angles that the past couple months of metas have forced teams to play. But I'm imagining we're probably going to go to Eichenwald. I think that's a very popular map pick for a lot of these teams. A lot of teams do like to pick the Eichenwald because you can play the Rhine. I know a lot of teams just love playing Rhine, and you can play Rhine there, but also it's a very strong double shield map as well. So we're probably going to see some of that. Regardless of which map we're going to, we're probably going to see double shield. And we're still waiting for Philly to pick their map here. I think they're just discussing some stuff, trying to fix some mistakes. And then also I think they're trying to get a 6th player in. I think one of their players might have came back. But yes, we are going to be going to Eichenwald. So why don't you talk a little bit more about Eichenwald here and what we might see and what that might mean for the rest of this map?
Yeah, so we saw a variation of comps on the first map, and that leads me to believe we will be seeing double shield here. Just Houston, they play so clumped, their rotations are great. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't play it. Maybe only because Fire prefers the Tracer and is more comfortable in that, is where they would variate. But Philadelphia looked relatively strong in the Rhine comp, but I just think Houston was a lot better. You know, their backline just a lot stronger, as well as the front line just completely stepping on Philadelphia. So maybe they could try the rush again. I think that would work pretty well if they pick targets better and if they shut down the brig that Houston's been running.
Yeah, so I agree. I think Philly, you know, they need to figure out what their style is if they're going to try and mirror the double shield, because Houston has looked very strong on it. But I think there are weaknesses in Houston's play that could be abused, specifically how their brig player doesn't seem to be able to get into brawling distance very easily, and that causes their bat player to be vulnerable a lot. And looks like we're getting into game now. And also, I just do want to point out, it definitely does look like Philly is playing with ringers. Like it definitely looks like there's a little bit of confusion as to what's happening, but hopefully they'll be able to figure that out here. I know they have their coach in here, and so he should be able to help them get back on their feet and swing back in this next map. So we'll have to see. We're going into Eichenwald now. Houston's going to be on the defense first, and we'll have to see what kind of maps are, or what comps are pulled out here. Excuse me.
Yeah, we'll be able to see in a few short seconds. But this first point, there's the geometry that you have to play around. The tower in the middle usually splits teams in half, and once you choose one to push, you get flanked from the other side. What do you think Houston can do, or Philadelphia can do, to prevent this from happening?
So one thing is just respecting those off angles. The clock tower allows like really unique interaction where you can have your tanks split up because they both have really good corners to back up to if they are pressured. And so you can have your Orisa play on one corner and your Sig play on the other corner and just shoot into the back line. But they definitely do have to be very careful of the potential pushes from the other team or from the side of Philly. So I think Philly does a good job at trying to pick a group that's isolated, or if Houston's just going to play together, and like you said, Fire being comfortable in the Tracer. So I think this actually does suit them as well, because I think the Pulse Bomb has a lot of ability to force out cooldowns, like the Lamp. But we'll have to see how Philly decides to approach this. First shield comes down, Maywall comes up, they're walking up. They used a lot of abilities there to walk in, so they might have to just wait for those to come back. Fire is just in the backline, maybe looking for a pick on a Natty here, just poking at the tanks right now. Looks like Philly might try and force out this Tracer before they walk up, which is smart, but they're just waiting for abilities to come back. Right in your face does have to use the Grasp here to just form some. The wall comes out. Fire does take out Natty though, so that Tracer really getting a lot of value on the backline and forcing Philly to really try and come back and deal with this. But now the team is walking up. Fire gets another one, and the reinforcements have arrived from the side of Houston. They're just walking forward into Philly, and that's just a very clean fight off the back of some good picks from Fire and some really good reading the tempo on the side of Houston.
I guess you could say Fire is on fire. This Tracer on that flank, like you said, just getting so much damage and pressure. Philadelphia just doesn't know what to do against it. Every time they try and force it out or push it, Fire just retreats, and they kind of forget about him. So, the window does come out, and Tommy does pick off Boba. Both lamps are used. Fire still on the flank here, just sitting up top. The lamp does come out from Houston now. Leo Leon taking out AZN, his counterpart, and swinging the tempo of the fight into Houston's hands. DNA getting picked off here by Glitched Out, as well as Digon with the whip shot, and Fire just so oppressive on this Tracer, picking up both DPS to end the fight.
Yeah, it was a really good start from Philly. They were able to use their window to try, or I guess their IMAX theater, to force out to get the pick early before the lamp could come out, and that forced them into a really good position. But they didn't respect the fact that we do have a bongo coming out from the side of Leo. It's going to force Philly to come back a little bit. Fire is trying to get something done as they fall back, but does get forced out by the brig. We'll be rotating again, and Lamp comes out early again. Fire getting really close to this pulse, but gets taken out by the right click from Tommy. Really good play there. And this is a big blizzard into the backline. Oh, also right in your face. He gets frozen out of the flux, and that's gonna be a really big misplay from the side of Houston. And off the back of that blizzard, the beautiful icicle from Tommy and that blizzard, Philly's finally gonna find what they needed to get in, and only with the use of 2 ults. They had to use the Bob as well, but they have both their tank ults, and they're getting close to their rally, and they have their window as well. So they're looking in a really good spot. But Glitched Out, already popping rally. They want to take this fight early. They might be able to catch Natty here, dropping very low, and the Immortality field does come out from both teams. So both teams kind of at the same, but Fire taken up by Mingo again. Now I think Philly's finally starting to figure out how to deal with Fire on this Tracer in the backline.
Yeah, that Tracer is indeed going to be forced onto Widow here. We haven't seen anything about this Widow, but if they're a Tracer player, then I mean, the aim's got to be pretty cracked. Neutral play is going on here, but the high ground is not being utilized. The Graphitic Flux comes out. It's 4 members for Dine, as well as Azen popping the bongo to get the pressure. Mingo Dynasty picks off Glitch, and it's left for Houston just to run for their lives here. Rock to the face of Leo, but won't be enough to kill. Tommy with a right click straight into the skull of Fire.
Yeah, very clean play from the side of Philly. It seems like they're finally figuring out how to deal with this. They use the fact that Leo used his Fortify early, and they're able to flux off the back that, force a lot of abilities. And Houston, they're trying to contest DNA on this high ground. Bob goes on the point. Window does come out from the side of Philly, and Bob does come out, but the high ground has been given up by DNA, which is weird. Both windows are out, and right in your face finds Tommy, and it looks like he's gonna clean up with the flux, dodges the rock, and able to clean up very easily. And Fire is onto the Hanzo now, so maybe thinking they need a little bit more shield damage and the ability to take angles a little bit easier.
Yeah, I don't think there's a comp out there that has more shield pressure than the one Houston is on. Just that Hanzo Ashe able to output so much constant damage straight into those barriers. Philadelphia is going to have a tough time pushing onto this high ground. The wall does come out, but it doesn't really do much. Dine forced to use his kinetic grasp. Both shields come out. A huge pull in the backline, but just some neutral play so far. Really open rotation that Philadelphia is playing. I'm a little concerned. Yeah, and as I'm saying that, Digon just gets picked off. Rotating through open space isn't great, but Mingo Dynasty finding a headshot onto Fire. No res available. Leo using the bongo just to force them back, and right in your face picking up Tommy, forcing Philadelphia to go back to the spawn room. Just regroup and try again with more people.
Yeah, I think it was just really, they're cutting corners a little bit, or looks like the fight's not over yet. Looks like Houston wants to push into this and get these staggers. Really good play from them, understanding when they have the advantage and when they can clean fights up. That's going to net them some more ult charge and forces in the last fight territory. And they're just, Philly's not really respecting the fact that Houston has this high ground. They went low ground, which is a big no-no on this map, because you just get forced out from so many angles. Your supports are so vulnerable from people playing above you. Dragons does come out onto the back line, but Philly not worried about it at all. They're going to go try and come through Castle, but Houston's going to meet them here. And a big boot, but ACN does catch the bottom area. Looks like another player going to get a lot of value here. Bob into the back line as well from Boba, maybe trying to pick off Natty on the back line, but off the back of another blizzard. Philly finds what they're looking for, and they really take advantage of the fact that they're fighting in close quarters. and that Blizzard's going to get him a lot of value. However, I think Houston might get a recontest here because of how far the payload was back. And they are going to go for it. The rally does get popped out by Glitched Out right in your face. He's getting close to that Flux, but he's going to get stunned out of his... He's immediately taken out by the wall and the stun. And now it's just trickling onto the point. Lamp comes out. Fire doesn't find Mingo, but I don't think it's going to matter. Leo Leon and Fire trying to bring this back, but it's not going to happen because it was just a really good play from the side of Tommy, who's honestly kind of carrying his team with this Mei play right now.
Yeah, you know, that rally window and Stigma ult are huge win conditions, but I think Houston just trickled out one by one, and Philadelphia had the target calling, the target priority. Everyone was just shooting at the same person at once, and they were forced back. Now, you do still have both tank ultimates for Houston, which are extremely strong. The pole comes out, but the rock doesn't connect. The window to start the fight, as well as the rally from Natty. Philadelphia just forced back, waiting for this window to come back, but Fire picks up Digan. They're gonna have to fall back. That rally just wasted. Unfortunately, Philly retreating, and Houston finding this footing they needed for the third point. It's so hard to push this corner, especially when you're pushing into two tank ultimates.
Yeah, right in your face, getting a lot of damage here, even though he doesn't really need to because he already has his Flux. The wall comes out, doesn't catch any targets. The Bongo comes out from Leon. A little bit of a mismanage of abilities, might get focused here. Huge Flux, but gets canceled by the rock. Beautiful play from right in your face, and they're just gonna be able to clean up off the back of this Flux and off the back of this Bob. And now it's all up to Tommy's got to try and switch to the Tracer, and we'll see if DNA does. Everyone's on the fast here. Is DNA onto the Wrecking Ball, Digan onto the Lucio, even AZN onto the Winston. And we'll see. Tommy doesn't get the touch, but Digan does. So sacrificing the Lucio for the better, but Boba does get taken out by Natty, and Immortality Field comes out just to save from the High Noon from Mingo, but it's going to be all clean up here. DNA trying to stall as long as possible, but it's all fleeting. It's going to get point blank pistol whipped by Fire, and Digan trying his best to get back, but gets booped off and taken out by Fire. And Houston will be able to stop them before they cap 3 points.
Yeah, that third point, like we keep saying, it's so hard to push. That second to last fight, Houston won it almost too fast. Philadelphia had time to come back. With Houston with no ultimates remaining, they're lucky that Philly was forced onto the stall comp, or they might have been able to win with all their ultimates and focus fire. Now, we are moving on to the defense for Philadelphia. I wonder if they're going to stick with the double shield or try something different here, because it looks like they've been struggling a little bit. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think most of Philly's success has been off the back of really good Mei plays. So I think they are going to stick with the double shield, which I think is smart. I think you just have to mirror it in the current climate of the meta. AZN onto the ball, though, so there might be some... No, he's switching back. He's going back to the Orisa. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they try and adapt to Leo Leon and Right in Your Face that are kind of just stealing the show with this tank play. And Tommy's he's got a lot to carry, honestly, right now. Philly not looking too hot on this comp, but they do show signs of life here and there. And also, to answer your question earlier, you said you didn't know if there was a comp with more shield pressure, but there is a hero in the game named Bastion. He just isn't very loved right at the moment. But we're gonna see how Fire early into the backline. Just trying to get into the back, get some scouting done. Right in Your Face uses grasp to get up, or to cross the gap, and Pull comes out, but not gonna get anything. Leo Leon does have to use his Fortify though, a little bit of a misplay there, so does AZN. Boba does find Mingo though, that's a really good pick off the very beginning, and Fire's looking in the backline, onto the supports, and Glitched Out finds Digan, and both lamps come out, but AZN's gonna be next on the menu, and now it's just cleanup for the side of Houston. Just a very clean play. Really good pick from Boba and a really good flank from Fire. Just really putting on a masterclass in how to play this Ashe Tracer variant of the double shield.
Yeah, and that Ashe Tracer can be hard to run as you're forced to find value with those DPS rather than the shield pressure you can almost artificially carry with your tanks. Now, this is great positioning here, although Tommy finding a pick onto Boba. I don't think it'll be enough to force back Houston, but taking this high ground early, playing for this bridge is so powerful. All this free cart space that you take, but Mingo taking out fire. That's a crazy headshot. Rock comes out, doesn't connect. Digon, though, pulled onto the low ground. That's brutal if you're Philadelphia. He's forced to either play down there and get low value or rotate back, which is a lot of time. And he will stay on the low ground. I don't know why he's not rotating back up faster, but Houston just have their tanks in their BAP and their DPS waiting below. Brigitte is on the payload. Sticky comes out onto Digon. They weren't fast enough for the lamp, and a huge flux from DNA from right in your face, excuse me, is enough to force this fight into Houston again. Now this is just domination here.
Yeah. So I just want to point out a missed opportunity for the side of Philly. They know that Glitched Out is pushing the cart the whole time, so they can take advantage of the fact that their Brig can't easily rotate high ground and just push straight into the team of Houston, but they're scared. The IMAX window comes out from the side of the IMAX theater comes out from the side of Philly, both teams actually now. The lamp comes out from the side of Philly. Big flux. DNA is going to find one, but the Bob's getting a lot of value onto the high ground. I don't even know how he got up there, but Boba with 3 with his Bob on the back line, and this is 5.5 minutes just to get to this corner. You can see where the box is. It's not even to the final checkpoint. So AZN panic switches to the Rhine. They're gonna have to make use of this rally and with this with these dragons. Bongo does come out early. Digon into the backline, but the rally is mirrored. The dragons come out. This might be pretty big, but Fire does find Tommy in the backline. Pulse Bomb does come out to force out the lamp. Leon feeling a little bit confident, but still kind of anyone's game here. DNA is forced to use the grass, but AZN does get taken out by Fire, and now they could just walk forward, and Houston takes an early 2-0 in this map, or in this match.
That was... I don't think they lost a single fight there on their offense.
I don't think so. It was slow creeping death from the side of Houston. Yeah. They just... one thing I really want to outline is Houston looks very practiced on this comp. They are very coordinated as a team when they want to push and get staggered, and Philly is not really respecting that. So they kind of you saw that what allowed Houston to get that early real estate onto the high ground was the fact that both Digon and the Brig player from the side of Philadelphia were taking the high ground early before their tanks could walk up to protect them. And because Houston was already rotating to the high ground, they were able to punish that. And because of that, they were able to get early real estate in the high ground. And that allowed them to push cart for free while having a lot of pressure from the high ground and being able to kind of stuff those approach angles from Philly. And Philly never really found a way back into that. And we saw even on Philly's attack, they kind of neglected the power of that bridge. And it was ended up being catastrophic for them because Right in Your Face and Boba were just able to pepper them down from high ground and force them to use a lot of abilities, force them out into a really bad area, out into that open area on the lower bridge. But Houston just looking like the better team right now. More coordinated. Just, I think, each piece across the board, just better in general. What do you think Philly needs to do to bring this back? They do have a halftime to talk about it, so I imagine Cream is giving them some sort of pep talk right now.
Yeah, so I'd definitely like to see a lot more map play. I mean, they're rotating through open space. They're a train, not a clump, which is not what you want to be. Just getting picked off before they can even set up for the fights. Although I will say their target priority in these fights has been pretty good, but just lack of staging and setting up on this high ground or around corners or through anti-LOS, it's just Houston able to pick them off before they can even set up. Yeah.
And when Philly win their fights, they win them hard. When they actually get to the point where they can use their ults like the Blizzard, like the window, when they actually like once they actually get set up for a good engagement, they win these fights hard. So like you said, the target priority is really good for Philly, but I think it's just getting into an area where you can set that up to be successful more often is where they're struggling. They're focusing a lot on ult fights and not necessarily just the neutral fights of just, your ability rotations, making sure that you're playing around good cover, making sure you're fighting for the correct space. And honestly, that's actually kind of something that's that's punishable on both sides, is both sides using all of their tank abilities really, really liberally, honestly, and it's causing a lot of issues. More so for the side of Philly, because Houston is being better at punishing that. But we're seeing the Fortifies come out for no reason. We're seeing the especially on the side of Philly, when they use their Mei wall to cross a choke or to cross a sight line, you'll see DNA pop his grasp at the same time. It's a little bit of miscommunication, using too many abilities at once, and both main tanks kind of using their Fortify just anytime their shield breaks, which they should just try and look to get back into cover instead of using that, and try and save that for only when they're getting hard pressured, because that's really what it's for, is to keep yourself alive, not to be able to shoot down a sightline for longer. So I think both teams kind of struggling in the neutral fights, but obviously Philadelphia is struggling a little bit more.
Yeah, now we do see a sub come out from Philadelphia. They're subbing Natty for Mafu Mafu. Natty was their Brigitte player, I'm pretty sure. Interesting to see. But I would like to remind our viewers that Philadelphia, they are playing with multiple ringers. So could be just lack of coordination, lack of team play, practice that is preventing them from comboing these abilities together. The next map will be Control, with the options being Hanamura, Temple of Anubis, and Volskaya. And Philadelphia will pick Hanamura. So Hanamura, very interesting map. It's kind of the one that I was hoping to see. What do you expect on this?
I expect to see more double shield, but maybe Philly might try and shake some things up. I don't know if Mafu Mafu is a substitute or if the main ringer. I don't know if Natty was the ringer or the main roster player. So not quite sure what bringing in Mafu Mafu is meaning for the team. If that means they're maybe their main roster player was finally available and they're able to get them in, or if this is just a different player. But it could mean that it was they might try a different style. Maybe if Mafu Mafu is more comfortable on the Lucio, they might try and run something more aggressive with something along the lines of the Rush with the Ryan Sig and the Lucio Bap. But we'll have to see once they get into game. I'm expecting it's going to be just more double shield, especially from the side of Houston. I don't see a reason why they switch off the double shield anyway. I think they really have a good handle, especially on this variant that they're running with the Ash Tracer, having Boba and Fire both on heroes that they're very comfortable on, and they're putting in the work for sure. So we'll have to see what Philly's adaptation is after this halftime, and we're just waiting to get back into game. We're going into game now, and like you said, I actually am kind of excited to see Hanamura. I think Hanamura is, in this age of having two of the 2 CP maps out of the pool because they are supposedly getting reworked, there isn't a whole lot of variety. So you kind of have to take what you can get. I know 2 CP is not a very popular map type among the community. A lot of people don't really like it, and that's probably putting it a little bit lightly. But I think Hanamura definitely is one of the better ones. It's definitely one of the maps with a lot of variety in the ways you can approach both points. You have maps like Temple. You have the 3 lanes. Hanamura, it's a lot more of a maze, and you have a lot more approaches that you can take, especially composition specific choices. Like if you have a team that can all jump the gap on the left side, you can bypass all the chokes completely and just try and directly take the high ground. But it allows for a lot of interesting play with rotations and being able to just control high grounds and have that kind of stuff. And we are seeing... Okay, It is the double shield. Double shield mirror on both sides. Tommy's going to be on the Echo and Mingo on the McCree. So this is kind of more standard what we're seeing in contenders. Maybe with like some teams running the Ashe instead of the McCree, but this is a little bit more standard. I will remind the viewers that what Houston is running is not necessarily standard at the moment. It's kind of an old meta type thing, but it is working out well. Fire does find Tommy early. Very beautiful play, sitting on the top of this gate and just picking off Tommy when he just didn't rotate with the team. Philadelphia, waiting in this room.
They're chilling.
They're chilling. They're lifting weights with their homies in here. That's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of the. Actually, there's not any. I thought there was like gym material in there. Oh, big pull off the high ground. AZN's in a lot of trouble here, and Fire finds Tommy again. And AZN having to use this Fortify early. Now Houston sees it as a green light just to walk forward into the team. And the IMAX leader comes out from Mafu. Mingo finds two actually though. DNA with another on the back line. That might help them out in the long run. 3 players on the side of Houston out. And we'll have to come back from the long spawn. So Philly might be able to get a really fast regroup and recontest here.
Pretty sure Fire killed 5 that fight, just putting the team on his back, showing them how strong Tracer can be if you're a good player on them. Now, Philly will try this rotation again, but the sticky bomb comes out onto Digan. Mafu missing the lamp, unfortunately. Tommy finding Boba, however, could be able for Philly to push in, but Leo taking down that immortality field, and Philly forced back. Zapat finding AZN and Fire finding Tommy on the exit. Looks like DNA won't fall, actually. Fire making an intelligent decision not to chase that. But you have almost 6 ults from Houston coming up on them into this next fight with only 1 or 2 on the side of Philly. This is going to be brutal to see them trying to push in.
Yeah, really brilliant play to understand your down players. So going for that stick really ends up being a really cheap fight win. Window comes out from Houston, and that's a really beautiful rock to deny the grasp, and health bars are low, and so it's just going to be aggressive lamp coming out from Zapat. And it's just really easy cleanup. Like you said, you mentioned that Houston has 6 ults, but they're only investing 1 ult to fight. And it's these very, very clean fights. Like this is exactly how you full hold. Full holding only comes from good ult economy. And Houston is putting on a masterclass in good ult economy right now.
Yeah, you have so many win conditions here. You have the bongo just to force them back, which will come out first. The pole does come out, but it won't find anyone. The sticky bomb comes out. Great lamp from Mafu to prevent that. I think that would have been a 5K or so. It was beautiful, and all the members were clumped. A pole will come out. The Philly Digan popping the rally just to give his team a little bit more pushing potential. Now, they're playing this window, but I think they should be going aggro here with the rally still up. But it's down now. The window will come out right in your face, getting the fattest grasp of his life. Pole coming out. Boba's Bob has never died faster. And both teams just playing neutral. The lamp will come out from Mafu, and all the health bars are low, but Mingo with the high noon won't find anyone. But the Flux will find 5 members. Fire picking off Mafu, Digan falling as well, and all of Philly just falling here in this last fight with not even a tick to show for it.
Yeah, they barely even touched the point. This Houston team is looking scary right now. AZN they're onto the fast comp again. This is actually onto the Ball Diva, but I don't think he's gonna even touch. AZN, yeah, doesn't even get there. I mean, that wasn't even close. That wasn't even close. Houston is looking scary right now, and it's just really they're putting on a masterclass in how to run this double shield, how to apply so much pressure with Fire in the backline, just living rent free basically out there. You know, they're paying him to live there almost, and he's just getting so much value with his Tracer and forcing a lot of abilities with the pulse bomb, and it's just, you know, it's just really good play from the side of Houston, being able to always force the enemy lamp first, punish the sloppy rotations from the side of Philly to always get some ability out on the rotation that they don't want to get out. And then also the ult fights it was just a masterclass from the side of Houston. They have 6 ults, and a less like a less less coordinated and a less disciplined team might pop 2 or 3 ults to win. But you have to remember, if you're winning fights really hard, if you're winning fights really hard before the enemy team even gets to use ult, they're eventually going to have 6 ults of their own. They're going to be able to just brute force their way through the choke. But that's why only using 1 ult and getting so much value out of that ult each time is what's giving Houston so much power in this comp.
Philly looking to try a little bit of Torb shenanigans. Tommy on that pick, just looking to force him back. But
on the
if you do look at the team comp of Houston, they are running the Symmetra, looking to just rush the point as fast as possible, or directly on top of Philadelphia. Just they're getting cut off from each other, but it doesn't matter. They just put a complete split into Philadelphia. Fire picking up Digon and Mingo Dynasty falling as well, but Fire will die to the turret. It's still up, members, for Houston as they are Wing into this team.
Boba's
Leo
on the Widow now.
picking up his counterpart. Boba is on the Widow, but I don't know if... Yeah, he's just clicking heads, clicking bodies from the spawn room, and Philadelphia with 1 member left. The boop does come out from right in your face, but Philly, that's the end of the road. Houston are the champs 3-0.
Yeah, very quick game, very clean game as well. And it was it was a complete team diff, I think, in my opinion. That's just kind of one of those you load up into your ranked game and you just kind of say, okay, this game's lost. When you see all 6 of Houston's members in back, Fire getting a well-deserved play of the game here, and we also will be giving Fire the play of the match, just putting on a masterclass on this Tracer, always being in the right places at the right times. And Philly just did not find a way to shut him down. They were trying Tommy on the Torb at the very end, but I think it was too little too late. And then that teleport play actually kind of got messed up a little bit by Houston because Leo immediately fell off the high ground, but Philly, I think maybe they're just too frazzled to punish that because Mingo got isolated on the backline by the rest of the team, and Leo didn't get pressure out at all. So, yeah, overall, I think everyone on Houston had some great plays, but I think Fire was just, like you said earlier, Fire was just on fire the whole time and was just, just putting in so much work into the Tracer on the Tracer into the backline.
Yeah, and hopefully we will be getting them in for an interview. I know I'd like to ask them a couple questions about that game. Yeah, hopefully we get them in shortly.
Looks like they have joined us. So, Fire, how's it going? How does it feel to win in such a dominant fashion?
Pretty good. That was actually a really enjoyable match. That was a lot of fun.
It looks like you were having a lot of fun on that Tracer there in the backline for basically the whole game.
Of course.
Yeah, most people choose not to run that Tracer on double shield. So what was the motivation, the key factor for your pick there?
I'm a Tracer one trick. That's all I can say.
That'd do it.
Yeah, we saw you on a few different heroes, but you definitely did show your strongest performance on that Tracer. And I just want to ask you, do you think that this is something that only your team is good at running because you have Boba on a comfort hero of the Ashe and you on the comfort hero of Tracer, or do you think it is kind of like a sleeper DPS pick that a lot of teams aren't really utilizing at the moment?
I don't think right now that there's inherently like anything that strong in meta, like that strong. So if you have people like on semi-viable comfort picks, that's really good right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree.
One more question that I had. Do you have anything to say to Philly after that game?
GG's. That's about it.
Not gonna a little bit of banter, not a GG easy. Nah. But yeah, it was a very fast game, very dominant game, and this was we had Fire here for the player of the match, and Houston with the really quick and really dominant 3-0 here in week 8 of Simplicity Mock Overwatch League Season 0. So You can catch us again. Hopefully next week we'll be able to stream some more games. But we will see what games we end up streaming. We are getting close to the end of the season. We will be having playoffs soon, so that's something to really look forward to. And we just want to give a quick rundown of how the playoffs format's going to work. So the top 6 teams from each division are going to be seeded directly into the playoffs, and then the bottom 6 teams from each division are going to be put into the play-ins, and they're going to be able to fight for a chance to get into those, I'm assuming, final 2 spots in the overall playoffs. So even some of these teams at the lower end that have been ramping up lately, like Washington started out with like a rough record, but they have been ramping up lately with a few wins here. They still have a chance to take it pretty far in this tournament. So that will be coming up, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks in December, and then the finals will be in January. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to hopefully stream a lot of those games. At the very least, we're going to basically try and make sure we stream like the semis on. But until then, I've been Cesian.
And I'm Who Knows.
And we'll catch you guys in the next stream.